All right, welcome to The Explainer. Now here's a question for you. What if the key to getting rid of nuclear weapons wasn't political at all, but spiritual? Sounds kind of wild, right? Well, today we are diving deep into this really fascinating proposal, dated 2025, that lays out a plan to do just that. It's all about creating a global spiritual upper house to get rid of every single weapon of mass destruction. So yeah, let's jump right in.
Okay, so right off the bat, this proposal isn't messing around. It hits you with this super powerful quote from the UN Secretary General. And really, it's a gut punch, right? It reminds you that with nuclear weapons, there are no do-overs. The message they're sending is crystal clear. We're not just talking politics here, we're talking about a threat to, well, everything.
So that begs the question, right? If everyone knows how dangerous this is, why haven't we fixed it? Well, according to this document, the answer is pretty bleak. They argue that we're basically living on a knife's edge, and the institutions that are supposed to protect us, they're just not working anymore.
And to make sure you really feel the weight of this, they put a number on it. Just look at that. Over 12,000. That's how many nuclear weapons are still out there. The way the authors put it is chilling. They say each one of those is like a loaded gun pointed right at humanity's head. It just gives you a sense of the sheer scale of the problem we're up against.
Okay, so why is this problem still here? Well, the document has a pretty direct target. They say the main global institution we have for this stuff, it's broken. And they don't just say it, they back it up with this incredibly blunt quote from a former UN General Assembly president. He calls the UN dysfunctional and paralyzed. I mean, wow, that's a huge claim, right? The very organization created to stop global conflict is, in their view, totally stuck.
So, with the UN supposedly paralyzed, you might think the next step is to, try and fix it. But nope, that's not what this proposal says. Instead, it goes in a totally different direction, with a pretty radical idea: create a brand new global body. And its job? To fix what the authors call a spiritual deficit in how the world is run.
And this is it. This is the core idea. The United Masters, or UN for short. The proposal imagines it as a kind of upper house for the entire world, but a spiritual and humanitarian one. So you can think of it like this. It's the counterpart to the political UN. It would be based in New Delhi, and its whole purpose would be to bring a spiritual, ethical point of view right into the heart of global decision-making.
And this slide really helps you see how they picture this working. It's all about balance. See, they're not trying to get rid of the UN, not at all. The idea is to complement it. Imagine a scale. On one side, you've got the political muscle of the UN in New York, and on the other side, you'd have this new spiritual hub in New Delhi. One handles the politics, the other handles the ethics, and hopefully they work together in perfect harmony.
Okay, so what's the big idea, the philosophy that makes this whole United Masters thing tick? Well, the document gets into this core concept they call the UBUMUD phenomenon. And you've got to pay attention here because this is basically the central logic for the entire plan.
UBUD, what on earth is that, right? Well, the authors see it as a fundamental law of nature, almost. The acronym is actually pretty straightforward. It stands for Universal Balance, Universal Masters, and Universal Disarmament. And here's the kicker. Their big argument is that you can't get one of these things without the other two. They're a package deal. It's all or nothing.
Now, I know that sounds a little abstract, right? So to make it easier to grasp, the authors use some pretty powerful comparisons. They say it's a 3D composite, just like other famous trinities. Think about it. God, or in philosophy, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, or even in science, electron, neutron, proton. The point is, just like you can't have an atom with all its parts, they argue you can't have universal balance and disarmament without the United Masters. They are three pieces of one single thing.
And that right there, that's the whole ballgame. This is the crucial point. The entire proposal really boils down to this one idea. For all these years, we've been trying to get world peace and get rid of these weapons by only focusing on the political side. And they say we've been ignoring the spiritual component. So the United Masters, the UN, is presented as the essential missing piece of the puzzle. And without it, they argue, real, lasting disarmament? It's just not going to happen. Impossible.
All right, so that's the big idea. The philosophy. But how do you actually do it? This isn't just some pie-in-the-sky dream. The document actually lays out a very concrete 9-year action plan to make all of this happen and, get rid of all WMDs for good.
And here's that roadmap. It's a 3-phase plan set to unfold over 9 years. Step 1, for the first couple of years, is all about getting the green light, securing official recognition for the whole UBUMUD idea.
Then, step 2 is about rolling up their sleeves and building the thing, creating the framework for the United Masters. And finally, step 3, leading up to 2034, is the execution phase, to, as they put it, ensure the satisfactory execution of this divine initiative. So yeah, it's incredibly ambitious, but they've definitely thought through the steps.
So you might be wondering, where did this incredibly ambitious plan even come from? Did it just appear out of nowhere? Well, not at all. It turns out this idea has been around for a long time. The document actually takes you back and shows you the whole 30-year journey, from a simple idea to the full-blown global proposal we're looking at today. And this timeline really tells the story. It all started way back in 1995 with this initial concept of a harmonious world. Then you can see it evolve. In 2007, it gets presented to the President of India. By 2014, the whole UBUMUD idea is formalized and sent to India's top leaders. Then it goes global, with appeals to the G20 in 2021, and finally to the UN in 2025. You can see for the people behind this, it's been a mission that spanned decades.
Okay, so all that history, that 30-year journey, it all leads up to right now, or, well, the now in the document's timeline. And this isn't just about looking back. It's about a very urgent, very specific call to action for the future.
And their strategy is super interesting. It's really targeted. They're not trying to, convince all 8 billion people on the planet at once. Nope. They're focusing their energy on getting the buy-in from just over 1,000 prominent personalities. The idea is to get the key influencers on board, the people who can really make things happen.
So, how do they plan to do it? It's what they call a 3D universal appeal, a three-pronged attack, basically. First, they want to send endorsements to the UN General Assembly President to get that official stamp of approval. Second, take it to the Prime Minister of India to get it discussed in their parliament, giving it a national home base. And third, and this is key, they want to take it to podcast channels, to the media, to build a global conversation from the ground up, kind of bypassing the usual old channels.
So, when you boil it all down, what this document gives us is this really incredible vision. It's a vision where the only way to solve the world's most dangerous problem is to spiritualize politics. The argument is that for the better part of a century, we've tried the political-only approach, and look where it's gotten us. So it leaves us with a really thought-provoking question to chew on. Could a spiritual upper house of the world, like the one proposed here, actually be a viable path to global peace and disarmament?